welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and please hit like. I've almost got 10,000 subscribers. So today I'm going to look at a few things, a little bit of an update for what I've been doing lately. I've been kind of out of the scene for the last week or so, and I've got a lot of work to catch up on, but officially I'm semi-retired. I'll call myself retired. I'm retired, but who knows what's next, right? So got a bunch of books at the local Ottawa Watch and Clock Society meeting, so very good price on these. So this book here is Watch and Chronometer Jeweling by Sherwood, N.B. Sherwood. So this is a pretty cool book. A lot of text, not a lot of diagrams, but it does discuss all of the things you need to know about jeweling, which is kind of cool. So, and the chapters go through, see if it has a list. There it is there. These are all the things the chapters are going through. The tools, how to use them, how to polish a jewel, how to open a jewel, how to set a jewel, etc., etc. So it's funny there's not a lot of illustrations in this, but if you read it, you're going to get lots of stuff out of it. So that's the book number 1. And then book number 2 is called Jeweled Bearings, and that's by Higginsbotham. Bigginsbotham. I think that's a B, not a H. So Bigginsbotham or Higginsbotham, not sure which. Anyway, Jewels and Bearings. So this book does have a lot of illustrations, which is kind of cool. You can look this one up as well, but it's a book on jeweling. So I do a lot of jewel work and jeweling work, and I'm always afraid of what I'm going to do next. But this is a great book to effectively teach you how to work jeweling, you work jewels and settings within a lathe. So not a bad little book, another $5 book, but I've got to read through this now because it's pretty precious. Here's a book on early watches. I picked this one up. So this was actually $2. I was like, oh my God, that's basically free, right? So, and it's got some really old vintage watches and the stories behind them. So this is pretty cool. So I do have in my work to do a watch that looks a bit like that. So hopefully it's not that age, but I do have a very old watch to work on this summer, and I'll get on with that. So I've got lots of time now to do that. So early watches. Now, the creme de la creme, or the jewel of the Nile here, is this little book here. So I wasn't sure whether I own this book yet. Sometimes I'll buy a book and come home and go, damn, I own it already. So why did I buy this? But if you look at this side, can you see that? The watch, what's it called? Adjuster's Manual. The Watch Adjuster's Manual. Let me look at this. I looked this up, and all I could ever find on this book was the fourth edition. This, my friends, is the first edition of the Watch Adjuster's Manual. So this is 1894. So it was registered in 1894. It was also registered in Canada. It says entered according to the Act of Parliament of Canada in the year 1894 by Charles Edgar Fritz. Charles Edgar Fritz at the Department of Agriculture. Can you believe that? The Department of Agriculture had responsibility for this. Now, this book here is very nice, very good book. And you can get this Watch Adjuster's Manual online in PDF. I got it on Amazon, so I got it as an Amazon book so you can read it. But this, my friends, is the first edition book. This is the original 1894 book, and you can tell how yellowed it is. So it's got a lot of age on it. So I'm going to keep really good care of this vintage book. So this was a very good buy for me, and the gentleman who sold it to me for $20. So I went online, and even the fourth edition manuals are like $120. So this is a first edition of this book, which is precious now. So I'm just going to keep this in a special place because thank you very much to the gentleman I got it from. Brilliant. I will keep this in a special place and likely pass this along to my children when I decide to leave this world, and I decide to be adjusted myself. So those are the books I received. Then from a backlog perspective, I've got to do some work on this watch here. It runs, but it runs slowly. This is the one that was in the salesman's case, and I need to adjust the the pallet fork on this, because I think that the guard finger on the pallet fork is just a little bit too close to the roller table. So I'm going to see if I can adjust that just by tapping it ever so slightly. So for me, to do that, it's kind of, what kind of jig do I need to put together to be able to move that ever so slightly and know how far I've moved it. So this is going to be a little bit tricky from a jig perspective. Once I get that done, though, this thing is finished. So it's been finished for a while, but I haven't been around to work on it. But I want to make sure this is finished and delivered to the customer. So it had been delivered once and it was working, but the customer said it wasn't working, and that was a problem. So I've had a friend of mine visit on the weekend, and he gave me a quartz Seiko. So this is an old quartz Seiko. And he claims or tells me that this thing is running like 3 minutes fast per day, and it's a quartz movement. So I'm going to have a look at this, test it, probably have to take it out and clean it. Not sure. We'll have a look at that and see what it needs. Hopefully it's not just a battery. I don't think it would just be a battery. It's probably something. There's a stepper motor in this thing, and someone had sent me, Mark from Australia, had sent me the quartz, the movement user manual. So I'm going to have a look at that user manual. Not the user manual. What am I talking about? I think it's the repair manual or the spec for the movement. So I'm going to have a look at that spec and see what it can do for me. So that's the one here. So this one here is kind of neat. And he said as well, this one here is not running very well. It's losing time. And this is a automatic movement. So it's a Seiko 5. And it's actually pretty good. It's a Seiko 5 dive watch, if you have a look at that. Good to... what is it, 23 joules, 200 meters, water resistant. It's got a kind of thing here. So this thing here just rotates the inner bezel. From a dive perspective, I guess that's good. So you could just set that to 0, or set this hand, the second hand, over to north or 0, and then you could understand how many minutes you've been down. Is that right? Maybe it's right. Not sure. Actually, it's degrees, so it's not going to tell you anything. How many degrees you've been underwater. Anyway, it's a dive watch, and in this hand here is tucked in nicely, and this crown here, and it's a screw down crown, and it adjusts the time and the date and everything like a typical Seiko watch. So I'm going to strip that one down and have a look at it. There's the case back for it, and there's the Seiko. There are the numbers. So that's an S7S36 movement 01 EO. Does it say EO? EO, water resistant sport. There it is, stainless steel. So it's a nice watch. It's actually a good watch. So it's probably cost about $400. But my buddy Jim gave me this and said, "Hey, JD, anything you can do with this?" Now the other watch I got running almost 15 years ago, I think. This one here I had, and I polished all of the marks off of it as well. So this one here is in pretty good shape. Not a lot of marks on it. No need to polish. But it's got issues running. So that's numero deux, number 2. And then this one here, I received when I was at the quarterly watch meeting here in Ottawa. A gentleman gave me this and said, "Hey, any chance you can get this thing running?" It seems to be running, but not very well. So this is a Zenith watch. I think there's probably people out there that would say Zenith, but I believe it's Zenith. Let's see if I can zoom in. There it is, Zenith. I say Zenith, so too bad. If it's got an E and then an N and another I, then the E should be a strong E, right? So Zenith, not Zenith or Zenith. So there you go, Zenith. This is what my great-grandma told me. So this does run, but not really well. It needs cleaning. There we go, a little shake there. So I'm going to take this apart, and this a woman actually wants to give this to a grandson. So I'm going to take good care of this and see if I can get this thing working really well. And that's that one there. And then there's another one that is in my safe, and it's the one where I have to straighten up the hairspring. So just as a note, I've got another microscope camera coming in the mail, so it's coming today. So I'm not going to do the hairspring work on that until I can get the close-up view and be able to do this work while you're watching me, which is nerve-wracking. So I'm going to wait till that camera comes in. It's supposed to be in before 10 o'clock. If I don't get it today, I'll start the work on that tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can just tap that pallet fork on this watch here and just get that pallet fork to move over a bit. And you know what? It's always it's never a loss to do some kind of a drawing, right? So I'll just show you here quickly what I intend to do with that palette fork. This is a drawing, so I'm going to make this a continuous video. That way you know I'm not cheating. I'm going to reach over and graben the marker. Graben the marker. That's German for grab the marker. So palette fork. So the palette fork goes like this, like that, and then it keeps going. Now you can't see the inside, but this is where the jewel would fit down here, right? So the jewel would go in like this, like that, as a side view, and then your roller table would be like this. So I'm drawing a roller table here, like that. And let's say your balance staff is going through here, like that. That's a roller table, and so this is a very side view of the palette fork here, by the way. So there's an opening here, but on the palette fork, in this particular one, there's a dart that goes out, and this one bends like this and then goes up like that. So I'm not sure about the bend, but I bought this from Dave's Watch Parts. Dave's a great guy, by the way. If you need parts for vintage pocket watches, get a hold of Dave. So this is a little plug for Dave's Watch Parts. And this, I believe, is too close to the roller table, and it's causing a little bit of friction here. So right at this point here, there's a bit of friction. I think that's causing this watch to not run with completely good amplitude, because I can get it going no problem, but before it ran with exceptional amplitude when I had the other one in there, but I had shellacked the base of it to make sure it stayed. This one here's got some kind of a rivet on the bottom, which is interesting, like that. So what I want to do is tap this way. So I want to tap it so it goes this way a bit, and it frees up the roller table, because the roller table is likely right here and way too close to this particular guard or finger guard, whatever. And it's a single roller, so a little bit tough, but I'm going to see if I can move that. This material is usually brass. It's usually a little bendier than the stainless steel or the steel material here, so tapping it shouldn't break it. But I just want to see how far down I can tap it, or what I can do to tap it. Now I've got other tools here. Let me reach back here and grab something. See if this can be used. So this here is a micrometer with a table on it, right? If you see that, there's the micrometer, and this has a very nice base table on it. It's a little bit of oil on the bottom. You can see it's pretty messy, so I'm just gonna wipe this off with my finger, and then I've got to get some tissue or something to clean that up. But anyway, so this is the micrometer here. So I might be able to somehow get that palette fork in there and steady it as I move this down to push the palette fork, and figure out exactly how many millimeters I can move it using this tool. So this is a pretty good tool. I was on the hunt for these a while ago, and there's the tip of it or whatever, so you can have a look at that. And Tavanis machines. So these are very good, very high quality. I have two of these. One of them is in inches, and it makes no sense why I bought it, but I've got one of these in inches, and this one here is in millimeters, so I can use the micrometer function on here and maybe push that palette fork down. Not sure yet. This is a real thinker for me. The trick here is to be able to grab the palette fork really steady, so when I push down on that, just the guard finger moves, and without breaking the palette fork. So this is a very tricky move. So we'll see if I can do this. If anyone's got any ideas or hints of how to do that, of how to tap that palette fork sideways. I know I did it before by putting the palette fork into my staking set, and then having pressure down on, then tapping it sideways that way. That might be where I go with this. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, so that's it. That's a little quick update of what work I have ahead. I should be able to get on with this now that I'm on permanent vacation. Every day is a Monday. So we're now retired, and we'll see how long that lasts. So thanks a lot, and thanks for watching my channel. Thanks for subscribing. Please comment. I love the comments that you guys give me, and I'll get on with more watch work and less silly videos about snakes in the lake and other crap I put on that's probably pretty silly, and people are going, hey, you're a watchmaker, stick with what you know. And no more guitar stuff for a while. So take care. Thanks. Shout out to Sonny, because he's always giving me great advice and stuff like that. And Chris Spinner out there's got amazing videos, and we're going to see if we can get more hits than Chris. That's my task right now. Get more hits than Chris. The problem with me is in producing a video, I tend to just yabber on and on. So that might be impossible. But shout out to Chris and Mark from Australia for helping me with a lot of things over the last couple of years, and other people out there that are repairing watches and doing watch work. So thanks a lot. If you're from the Ottawa area, I recommend that you join the Ottawa Watch and Clock Collectors Club. It's a great club with a lot of more clock guys than pocket watch and watch guys. But we're going to flip that around. We're gonna get a lot of pocket watch and watch people into that club, okay? Because clocks are too darn big, and if I bought a bunch of clocks, then my wife wouldn't have anywhere to live.